Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'm going to do a video that hopefully doesn't piss off too many people, but everybody has their own opinion and I'm entitled to mine. And these are 5 reasons I hate Gibson Les Pauls. Yeah, so sorry. That's my opinion. I hate them. I love a lot of guitar players that play them. You know, I love Slash. I love Jimmy Page. And but for me personally, I just have owned several Les Pauls in my lifetime, and I just always wind up getting rid of them. I hate them. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons that I don't like them. But at the end of the video, I'm going to give you the one thing that I really do love about them, and that one thing could be enough to make that guitar worth owning, just not for me, okay? So just to show you that I'm not a Les Paul hater in the broad sense, I just don't like them for me, okay? And that's why I never really am able to hold on to one. I don't know. But let's get into it, okay? And believe me, there's a lot more than 5 reasons I hate them. But I'll just stick to the 5 that I hate the most, okay? So, number 1, and this is a big one, the weight. The weight. They are just so heavy when you stand with them. They hurt your shoulder, they hurt your neck, they hurt your lower back. And even when I look for Strats or Telecasters, even with that, I have to have something under 8 pounds. For me, I cannot stand a heavy guitar, be it a Gibson or a Fender. And for the most part, a Les Paul is just too heavy. Yeah, I know some of the vintage ones, they are lighter, but who can get their hands on one of those? And they have chambered ones that are lighter, but I don't really want to own a guitar that has like holes drilled into it, even though they say it has no effect on the sound. Just for me, it's not enough to make me want to buy one. Maybe if the only thing I hated about Gibson Les Pauls was the weight and I loved everything else, then I could say, okay, I'd buy a chambered one. But because I don't love anything else about them, then the chambered doesn't really tip the scales in my favor, no pun intended. Reason number 1, the weight. Okay. Reason number 2, and this is kind of related to the weight, is the balance. If you're like, okay, it's too heavy, but I could use the guitar sitting down. When you sit it on your lap, I don't know, the balance of a Les Paul, it like sits off to the right. Now maybe because I'm an acoustic player primarily and a Tele/Strat player, I'm used to where the guitar sits. All right, I definitely am. And a Les Paul just kind of sits off to the side, and it's got that stupid little horn on the bottom that just makes it kind of always feel like it's gonna either topple this way or worse than that, be headstock heavy where it topples this way. It never seems to balance on my lap the right way, and I spend all my time playing kind of like just trying to hold this fucking thing in place. And I don't know, it counterbalances for me any upside that there might be to the tone, you know, to the mellow tone, the mellow kind of jazz tone you can get out of it, or it just seems to not be worth it for me. Okay, so stupid little horn / balance on the lap. My second reason that I hate Les Pauls. Okay, the third reason, and this isn't really something I hate necessarily, but it's the scale, okay, the distance between the frets. And I guess it's because I'm an acoustic player primarily who plays Martins and who plays Gibson, but who plays full-scale Gibsons, like the songwriter. The small scale, although yeah, at first you're like, wow, it's really fast and it's really like kind of smooth feeling, and that's cool. But I don't know, the string tension is too loose because of the small scale. And for me, I always have intonation issues on it, and I think the small scale doesn't help that any. And I don't want to go up to heavier strings, and I don't like the less snap that I get from a smaller scale guitar and the more subdued tone. So for me, another thing I hate about Les Paul's small scale. Number 4, and again, this is going to be controversial maybe, but lack of versatility. They're not versatile to me. Granted, a good player can get a Les Paul to sound like anything. You can get funk sounds out of it. You can play anything on it. It's up to the player. But for me, the type of music I play most, it doesn't have the versatility. I can't get the sparkling cleans. I can't get the kind of the biting top end that I can get out of a Telly or a Strat. And yes, you probably can't get the growling, howling, full-bodied overtones out of the Strat that you could out of a Les Paul. But with pedals and amps, I can get a lot closer to that sound with the Strat than I can get the Les Paul to sound Fender-y, Fender-ish to me. Okay? So for me, it's lack of versatility with the Les Paul in the types of music that I like to play. Number 5, this is kind of 2 things in one, but price / quality control. Okay, they're way overpriced for what you're getting. They're shittily made. The quality control at Gibson's not good. You know, they're just not really well made anymore. And Gibson thinks they can just charge whatever they want, and that's fine for people that want to pay it. To me, I wouldn't pay it. I've had too many Gibsons. A buddy of mine had one where the pole pieces were just drilled in such a way that you couldn't really ever get the relief on the neck to match up with where the saddle had to be, because the pole pieces had to be either screwed out too much or screwed in too much. I don't know the specifics of it, but he had that on more than one occasion with the Les Pauls. It's just they always seem to have intonation issues for me on the G string. Maybe that has to do with the scale. Maybe it's just me. And feel free to chime in the comments, which I'm sure you probably all will, because I dare to say I don't like Les Pauls, and guitar players get really sensitive about that. And I just think it's way overhyped for the price, for a guitar that I really otherwise don't like in any other way. Okay, now these are the 5 reasons I don't like the Gibson Les Paul. But there is one thing that you gotta love about a Les Paul. And so if this applied to my music making and what I do when I play, or the type of band I played in, then I would buy a Les Paul and I would own it and I would love it. And that is the tone. I mean, if you want that howling, full, throaty rock tone, or that like neck position, mellow kind of lead tone, like Slash or something like that, the Les Paul does it better than any other guitar. Okay, so look, you plug in a Les Paul with the right overdrive into the right amp and turn it up and start going at it, that tone is not replaceable by anything else. And if that was a tone that I needed or was applicable to my routine, then Les Paul hands down. Okay, so just to show you, I'm not hating on Les Paul just because I hate Les Paul. I just hate them for me. Okay, so the one redeeming quality, which perhaps could be the most important thing of all, and in a perfect world is really the only thing that matters, is the tone. Yeah, they sound great for what they do if it's the right tone for you. Okay, I'm Frank Persico. Don't hate me because I don't love Les Pauls. Please subscribe, please like, please leave your comments in the description, good, bad, or otherwise. I'd like to hear them. And I will see you in another video. Take care.